Here with Ryan Hurd. Nice cardigan.
Nice.
I laughed because you texted me yesterday and you were like, we're going to talk about cardigans.
I like your cardigan too, brother.
Thanks. That's all I've been wearing. 5 months in a row, every day to work. 5 months.
It is, I think, the most important article of clothing that you can own.
And for me, it's a standard. I have a lot of them. You can wear them in the spring. You can wear them in the fall. You can wear them in the winter. Summer gets a little iffy.
Mornings. Instead of like
I keep the studio
robe?
freezing cold, though, so I'm all good.
There you go.
But I feel like I always look put together. It's kind of like Weezer meets Grandma. It's kind of my style, is what I'd say.
The greatest television character of all time, the dude in The Big Lebowski, has his own signature cardigan. That's what I aspire to.
What yours looks like Native American. Mine's pink.
This is my favorite. I got this on sale from Polo, and I've kept it for about 8 years. It's got holes in it.
Yeah, yours is like cool, Ralph Lauren. Mine's like Powerpuff Girls.
That's the kind of thing that people are like, oh, I could never pull that off. And it's like, yeah, you can. You just got to own it.
It's funny you say that. My wife had the talk with me. Every once in a while, my wife has to have a talk with me. I'm like a child at times. And I was asking her, I was wearing something to something. And I was like, can I pull this off? Oh, I know what it was. Give you a little backstory. It took me a second to get there because obviously I wasn't prepared to talk about this, but I was at the NFL Honors Awards show, and I was presenting an award on Fox. It was pretty cool because I work in sports now. It's pretty cool.
Pretty awesome.
And so NFL's like, hey, why don't you present the award to George Kittle? And it was me and Kyle Juszczyk, and I was like, that's
Nashville guy.
That sounds cool. Yeah, lives right down the road. And so I didn't want to wear a tie, but I wanted to wear a suit because I wanted to respect it, but I just didn't want to look like an accountant.
Yes.
And it was all NFL. Different world. Like our world, I feel like I could show up in a vest with no shirt and some shorts that said country rocks. And I'd still feel comfortable because I know our environment. I know the people. And I just know it.
Yes.
But it's not my people. So I just wanted to make sure that they felt it was respected. I wasn't wearing a tie. And I said, I would like to wear something a little extra. She's like, wear this gold chain. Or she bought me a gold chain. I was like, man, I don't know. And I literally brought you up because the one time I tried to wear a chain was a couple years ago because I was like, I'm going to be like Ryan and wear a chain. And I couldn't pull it off. I couldn't pull off like the long chain. But she was like, if you don't wear a tie, just wear like a chain. Maybe you can see a little bit in the back of your neck. And I was like, I don't know if I could pull it off. And she was like, honest to God, you can pull off whatever you want as long as you want.
As long as you just wear it with confidence and you feel comfortable.
She was like, you can pull off anything you want.
Yeah. Like your shoes don't even have backs on them today.
They're called mules. That's correct.
Yeah, you're crushing it. You walked in and I was like, oh, those are dope shoes.
And I walked in with these shoes going, oh, these are like a fine crap. But I wear a chain now. Not
you tuck
in your
it?
honor. I tuck it, but I wear it to remind myself. I can wear whatever the frick I want. And this is a little Razorback with a diamond on its eye. So it is cool because she got it for me. But yeah, you can pull off whatever you want to pull off.
I still tuck them most of the time because you
don't have to.
You don't have to. So like today, I pulled this little quartz out and this little feather out.
I picture you with like an array of necklaces.
I got a little stand and I wear the same ones all the time. I got a little Hayes one, which is like a little H at the end of one. I try to wear that one, but he might have grabbed it and put it somewhere because
he's already wearing it.
It wandered off. Oh, he just gets into stuff.
How's that going?
Dude, I love being a dad. It is awesome. So I took him to school this morning. I'll pick him up at 3:30 and we'll go play. He likes tennis lessons. He's going to go do that. I don't know, man. It's cool. I made a decision a couple of years ago to tour less because I was just missing it, man. It was an A+ decision. I hear all these people all the time being like, man, I wish I would have been around more for my kid when he was little, but I was out here riding this bus and for me, I do a lot of things. So my income wasn't solely based on touring. So I was like, what am I doing out here? Like I'm missing the whole thing. So I went home and then ended up making this album slowly. And it's one of the best decisions I ever made was to tour less just because like this, you only get one shot at your kid. And I really wanted to make sure I was really, really involved in his life. And I'm really thankful that I get to see him as much as I do, man. He's a great, great little 5-year-old boy. He's 5. Isn't that nuts?
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. He's 5.
COVID. I remember we went in COVID. We went in no masks or anything. We're just starting to hear about stuff, and I had to cancel some dates. And we came out. Everyone was wearing face shields. So 3 days. That's how fast it flipped. And that's when we had him. So
You had him during face shield time?
right when it started, when the doctors all started wearing face shields, it was nuts. So it's sort of funny. It's like he's a COVID baby. Every year I'm like, oh, so that was however old he is years ago when that all started.
It also seems weird that was 5 years ago that COVID happened.
Exactly.
That COVID was ending.
That it was starting.
Or whatever it was. Dude,
Yeah.
all my years are mixed up because of it. Like, I don't know it.
I agree. Everything is different.
Yeah. What works for you now? And I'll ask that question and give you some back on it. Some artists are, man, TikTok crushes for me. Some are, I'm just going to focus on streaming. Some are, I want to go radio first and hopefully streaming hits after. And there's not a right way. And what's great is there's not a right way. There is no ultimate gatekeeper. What's difficult about it is there's not a right way.
Yeah.
I mean, so like, what do you find works for you?
Hopefully something. I remember when I first started doing this, it was like, if you could get your foot in the door with a handful of people, then you could sort of do a lot of stuff behind the scenes, like just with personal relationships. And that seems to have not mattered as much in the last 2 or 3 years. I mean, it's true. I mean, when we were talking about like Spotify or radio, it'd be like, hey, well, I know this PD and I have a good relationship with them. And so I'll text them and call them. And when I need an ad or need something, I, know that like these guys will be here for me. And same with like the DSPs. It was all, remember, John Marks ran Spotify, and you would just, if you were buddies with John Marks, you could get a lot of stuff playlisted, and playlisting was a lot more important, 6-7 years ago, I think, as far as just like grinding on streams. So for me now, I don't know. I mean, I think after the last couple of years of my professional life and personal life, like, I think I don't exactly know what works for me, but I've switched up my business a little bit to where like I own my masters now, which is very cool.
Do you have to buy them back, or was it just a new deal?
No, all the new stuff I is mine. And so it's
Got it.
if you look at like my new album, it has my little label on there, which is Hurd Jams, Records and Tapes. And then it says, licensed to Big Machine Music. So that, for me works because I love making records and I love writing songs. And so I have had because I do both things, I don't feel like this financial pressure to tour, which is a really important thing for me. Like, touring causes a lot of anxiety. And for me personally, I don't like being away from my kid. It just is not it's not my thing. I love the fans. I love the music part, but there's not a whole lot of creativity involved in that part of the business. So what works for me is being a songwriter for other artists, which I'm still incredibly blessed to be doing, and then to make records and then do like small tours off of those records, which I'm trying to figure out what the best way to do that going forward is. But if I feel like most people who do this get 2 out of 3. They get publishing, writing songs. They get masters or some sort of version of making money off their recordings, depending on how they structure it with their label, or if they're massive, then it doesn't matter. And then the third thing would be touring. And so most people, if you think about their careers, get 2 of those 3 for the most part. They get either they write their own songs or I don't know. So for me, I've kind of focused it in that direction. As far as like what works for me online and stuff, like, I don't know. That's a hard thing I've just never been, I've never been as interested in it, if that makes sense. Like, I'm a really private person. I think I have like really close friends and I'm really close with my family, and I just have never been super comfortable being super outward, like public facing, especially with like my personal life. That's always been really awkward for me because it's just a little unnatural. So for me, what works is like just kind of focusing on music stuff and letting my team kind of steer me. That's a really long answer. I don't know if it's helpful or not.
I wondered too where you were going to go when you said anxiety touring, because mine when I do tour, if I'm doing comedy, my anxiety is not being gone because I'm gone all the time. It's that nobody's going to buy tickets.
As massive. Well, that's huge
Great,
too.
like
'Cause
crazy anxiety. Hate it. I hate every on sale day. I hate it.
oh, dude, I'm actually having like a physical reaction to that when you said it. I wish I was like, I remember Russell Dickerson and I did the Thomas Rhett tour together with Kelsey and Thomas. And it was Thomas's first time headlining and Kelsey's first time in arenas and me and Russell, our first time doing anything. We shared a bus. And Russ is such a live show guy. He's so great at it. And for me, I'm just kind of like this. I'm not an introvert, but I'm very like, I'm a writer. I like making records. I like being like the brooding, like mystery guy. So when I figured out like how to make a great show, I really did well. But it was like I had to learn how to do it all. But like someone like Russell is like when his on sale day comes, he's so pumped.
But he's pumped about everything though. Like
Yeah.
he's pumped that he wakes up in the morning and is like another day. But yes.
But for me, I'm like, I get that way about writing. So I get that way about being in the studio with making records, about sitting with artists making songs. Like that's to me like me. Like I'll sit. I did it yesterday. I wrote with Adrian Nunez. Adrian Nunez. I wrote with him. He's a fantastic artist, and I just an hour in was like, this is my favorite part. So this is my favorite part. And they're like, why? Because it's all creative. It's all creative. It's amazing. I still love that so much. I still love making records and talking about them. It's just as soon as that bus pulls up, I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, on sale days, I hate.
I did not like that.
I'm 4 hours away from being irrelevant and washed up.
Have you ever had to cancel a show
No,
because you didn't sell enough tickets?
no. And again, this is a wife talk where like it physically bothers me, right?
Yeah.
Because let's say they're going on sale at 10 a.m. on Friday, and I've got 18 shows. And I don't tour all the time, so if I'm going to do 18 theaters, we've picked out where we think we're going to do best. And like I feel sick. And
Yeah.
she's like, why are you doing this to yourself? And I'm like, because if these sell terribly, I'm going to be embarrassed. I go through the list. She goes, how many times does it ever happen? Because when you ask me that, I will never, but there's going to be a first.
I've had 2 shows. I've canceled shows, but they were for Hayes. Like he was coming and he's going to, or like he might come tomorrow. So I need
As in through, like, exist in the
he
world.
might be born tomorrow.
Right, okay, good.
So I need to cancel this next little run because I have to be home. But I've come close twice to like, we didn't sell enough tickets. Like we are going to lose our ass today. We should not be playing this show, but there's this many people who actually did buy tickets. We're going to go play the show. It's not going to be fun. Like, you apologize to your band. Like, this isn't what you signed up for, but we got to go. But yeah, that's a real thing. And I don't like that feeling. But I am going to tour again. But I want to do tours around records. Like, I'm not going to tour this summer, but I'm going to go pretty soon here because I want to tour Midwest rock and roll. I want to tour the next album that we have coming, which is like written and planned and all that stuff. So,
You're already talking about the next one? Or you haven't even toured this one?
well, I was supposed to put out Midwest rock and roll in March of 24. What came out March of 25?
Was that the reason that you now own it? Was part of the...
No, I mean, Maren and I split up and there was a lot of just personal stuff I just had to handle. And I had to make sure my feet were underneath me and make sure that I could, whatever life looked like going forward was like being a dad, first priority. Still will always be the first priority. Writing.
Did you think that would be the first priority though before you had him? Or was that a realization once?
Yeah, I mean, I think to me, I love like a normal, I'm a very normal life guy. Like
You're also tight with your family here too.
I am very tight with my family here.
Yeah.
We have they all live here.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I don't think that's a question. I mean, even for either one of us, it's always Hayes comes first. So that's like take that off the. But so for me, it took a second. I wanted it to come out exactly the way that I had written it and recorded it. I didn't want to like change anything. I didn't want to come out with like something or what people expected me to come out with. And I just wanted to put out the record I wrote. I felt like I deserved that. I felt like it was something that was important.
Wait. What do people expect you to come out with? No. I'm going to ask the question. What did you expect that people expected you to come out with?
Everybody asked me if I was writing a breakup record.
That's interesting. I never thought that. I never thought that was coming.
I think if you know me like personally, you would know that like that's not really my thing. But I know that like the industry especially was like waiting for that, and I'm like, I will never give you that.
Also, though, and I could be wrong here. When it's the mom of your kid, do you really want to do a breakup record?
No.
Because that's like even if it's not your wife anymore, that's the mom of your kid, and that's all going to kind of be, she's public as well.
I wouldn't do it if we didn't have a kid, to be honest.
Maybe I would if we didn't have a kid, if it was me, and maybe I'd be like, screw you if it was bad. But if you have a kid, the life has just matured. I feel like that's like taking a shot that you would kind of want back. Once your kid got older and you're like, yo, Dad, you did a whole record about this?
Our kid, we live 2 miles apart. Like, it's very fluid. We get along fine. I mean, we get along great, actually. I'm really proud of all three of us for the way that we've handled it. And this is more than I've ever talked about it, so maybe I should stop. But it's not even that, like, I have anything to say. It's our thing. It's our life. And yeah, I don't care enough about my career or about my, I don't know. Just because you can, should you?
That's also interesting how you said that. You don't really have anything to say, and I'm sure you have a lot of thoughts and personal things, but if you don't have enough to say, why would you make a record about something you don't want to say anyway? Because that's quite the investment. About anything. It doesn't even have to be about a breakup. It can be...
The hard part, too, is pitching songs where you're like, this is very clearly a breakup song, and if I put it out myself, it would kick up so much stuff. Yeah. You're like, that's not what I meant. I was just writing because that's my job.
Yeah.
And I have a couple songs out there that are like, this is a hammer. You should just do it yourself. And I'm like, do you understand? Like, that's a terrible idea. Like, that's kind of what I like to say about it. It's like, I'm not kicking it up, man. And I don't know. I also don't feel like that.
You also could and create buzz, free buzz, and you've chosen not to. Like, there's a lot of free promotion that you would get out of it by kicking it up. And I think that says something about your character that you've chosen not to.
Well, but there isn't really.
There isn't what? What do you mean?
You're right.
Because you don't think that would be on every blog and if it's a song.
But that's the stuff I hate.
That's my point exactly. But you could have weaponized that for your own career, aside from you wanting to.
You're right. I guess. But then it would have been me lying. I think
that hadn't stopped people before.
I know it would have been me being like, I don't know, man. I love Maren. We talk every day. Like, we have a child together. We're raising them together. It's not a trade-off situation. We're doing it together. And yeah, some stuff happened that like wasn't fun. It wasn't my choice, but it's also like, this is part of it. And life is not linear. Life is not perfect. You kind of roll with it, and you like the things that there are to forgive. You forget, then you just do it. You wake up every day and you do it until you feel better. And then the things that are your fault, you apologize for, and then you try to put it back. I mean, that's what I've had to do, and this is the most I've ever talked about this. And
you can stop at any time, but you also know you can keep going. And if you're going to talk to somebody about it,
I know I'm always
it can be me. Then you can always text me and be like, "Hey, cut that out." Like there's like 8 avenues.
Someone tell me when I step in it, but I'm always nervous about that because like I don't want that to be the public perception of us, and I don't want that to be. But mostly, I don't want that in my own life. Like I don't want to hate anybody that especially because I mean, we still do very much care for each other, and I want her to have hits. I want to have a couple more myself too, and I want everybody to be happy and okay, and we are. So deep breath. The most important thing is that 5-year-old boy, and he is thriving. He's an incredible kid. He has some weird questions here and there, but he also has some really funny ones. So whatever. People do it, right?
What about not showing his face? I have my friend Andy Roddick, who's famous. His wife, Brooklyn, famous. They've chosen not to put their kids' faces on the internet. So they put smiley faces over. What was that conversation? When did you decide?
It was not even a conversation.
Really?
When we found out we were pregnant, just like, we're not doing that. I mean, there's two reasons. I mean,
I wish I could do that to my face at this point too. I wish I could just.
No kidding. God, I love. Can we go back to like when it was just radio and like, I love talking on the radio. Nobody ever lets me do it anymore. It's like, I used to, like, you have to go play the guitar pole but I liked going in studio and being like, hey, we have a half an hour with Ryan and he's going to play us something and he's going to talk about, I don't get to do that anymore.
You do like doing that?
I love it.
So here's my guilt. I think everybody hates coming in all the time.
No,
but I'm just going to tell you, generally speaking, I feel like every guest that ever comes in with a guitar, they hate doing it. They don't want to be there. And I'm nothing but a bothersome part of their day that is a means to something else.
You have given these people whose entire identity is being a public-facing artist a microphone. They're thrilled. I am thrilled right now.
The rational.
I love talking about myself.
Yes, the logical part of me gets it. I just feel like anybody doing anything.
And there's people listening?
I hear you.
Come on.
It does not make sense, but I do feel that it's a burden and nobody wants to do it with me specifically.
Oh, I understand that because I feel like every time I don't know. I feel like every single song you put out is the last one you'll ever do just because everyone's going to hate it. So,
that's the same on sale anxiety.
Yeah.
You just did my on sale anxiety where you're like, everybody's going to hate this. This is the last one.
Well, when you got it, you know it. But sometimes you take a big swing and you're like, every time I've like pounded the table for something that I really believed in musically, it's not done.
Don't you feel though it's probably because it's a bit extra in your creative mind, like you're pushing yourself. And at times I have found when I try to push myself to do things that feel a bit extra, new for the environment, never really received that well because it kind of doesn't fit down the middle. And most things have to be kind of down the middle for most people to understand and like them.
I can think of 2 times where I have been like, this is it. And one was a song called Her Name Was Summer. And I still think it's an amazing song. I thought it was a hit.
Why wasn't it a hit? I don't know that song.
Because nobody liked it very much.
Well, that's a good reason that it wasn't a hit. What about it though? Like sonically?
I don't know. Because it's not a science. It's an art.
But it also could have been the business part if you didn't have committed promotion. I mean,
it's about getting everybody on the same page.
Yeah,
so I was like telling Janet, my manager, who I was like, this is it. And she's like, I love it. And then it's like telling the label, like, I love this. Do you guys love it? And they're like, oh yeah, it's a cool song. And you're like, why don't you love it as much as me? We're doing it. I know this is right. And then it comes out and you're like, you guys were right. But then one other time though, I was right. And I said, Every Other Memory is a hit song. And it's a hit song. It sounds great. People, like, I get a reaction out of it, and the record company sent it to radio. We got like 17 ads out of the gate, which is automatic, like, no, that's like, right away. Like, that's not going to happen. And I was really disappointed because I was like, I know this can work. And I didn't feel like I got a push, right? And that song just went gold, which is crazy. So sometimes you pound the table and you are totally wrong. And sometimes you pound the table and you're like, yeah, that still went gold, even though it just didn't work at radio, for whether it was the stations that didn't think it fit or it didn't really have a lot of belief from the record side. Like, I have a great relationship with everybody at Sony. I have had massive successes and also failures with that label. And I'm fine to have failures with anybody. Like, that doesn't scare me. Like, I like failing and succeeding with people. I don't want you to think that like my attorney's a good example. I have gone through so many little battles with my attorney, and sometimes you win and sometimes you lose. But I like the fact that like the guy that I've won with, I've also lost with, because he knows where the bodies are buried. And he's like, he gets me, and you don't win everything. And if you just move on from people immediately, then you're just not going to have like a solid foundation or team. Like, you got to realize that there's winning and losing in everything. And so anyway, my point is, like, I had a great relationship with Sony. We had three gold records as an artist, and it's awesome. Like, and sometimes you're really smart and you make them look really smart, and sometimes you think you're really smart and they try to make you look smart, but it doesn't work. So it's just music. It's not science. It's an art, and it's fun. That's like part of the game, is figuring out like what works and what doesn't, and what's great and but it's all about people too. Like, I can't tell you why More Than a Feeling is a hit song, except for every time I listen to it, I'm like, this is awesome, right? Like, that's one of the best rock and roll songs of all time. And
You mean the original?
yeah,
More Than a Feeling. Got
yeah.
it.
I mean,
I thought you were like, I haven't heard your More Than a Feeling.
that's not a math, but it's not a math problem, right? It just hits you right in the chest. And those guys, I swear, as soon as they wrote that, knew they had something cool. So I don't know. It's just, this is music. This is the part I like talking about.
Why is it called Midwest rock and roll?
Because it is what it is. I wrote that title. You know how this works. We write titles in our phones all the time. I used to write on legal pads. But I wrote that title in my phone, and I was like, that's a song. And it's probably the name of the album. And I have to figure out how to write the album. But I first have to figure out how to write the song. And I grew up in Michigan. I was born in Chicago, grew up in West Michigan, have made it a big part of my artist identity as being from that part of the world, just because I feel like, it's personal and it's injecting a lot of who I am personally into my music. It's how you get people to connect, is whether or not they're from there. That's putting your true self into your art. But it's a coming of age album. It really is. I'm not coming of age anymore. I'm 38 years old, but I wrote about what it was like to leave that place. I still go back all the time. I have tons of friends up there still. I spend a lot of the summer up there. But I just wanted to make an album that felt like we were 16 years old in my basement making our first music together. It sounds like a band. It sounds like, I don't know, I just felt like this is the most Ryan record that I can make right now. And I also have this thing where I was like, I got a little homesick, weirdly, when I started writing this. And I was like, man, could I have been happy if I just stayed home and just made a life where I grew up? And the answer is like, yeah, man, you could have. You would have always had that thing you thought about, though, where if you didn't go, you didn't try to go experience all of this amazing stuff I've gotten to experience. I've been to every award show. I've been nominated for most of them at this point. I've gotten to tour everywhere. I've had every experience, truly. I mean, I can do a lot more of it, but I have 2 vinyl at my house with my face on them. That's crazy to me. But you always think like, man, what if I stayed back? And the answer is like, yeah, man, you could have been really happy, but you also would have always thought about it. So I wanted to write kind of like what it meant to like explore those roots a little, and I wanted it to be sonically heavier. Hardy put out Mockingbird and the Crow, and it was so heavy, it made me go, okay, mine's just like this, like little emo country record. It's going to be fine. It's going to fit in perfectly, and it has. It sounds, I don't know, it's still a country lyric. It was the record I wanted to make. It was the one that I wanted to go slowly. We don't go slow in Nashville. It's like once the single cycle's over, you just go on to the next single. There's never like a break. No one ever takes a deep breath and is like, all right, what's next? It's because you're always touring because you got a huge operation that you have to keep paying for. So I wanted, when 23, when I made the record, I wanted it to go slow. I wanted to write it slow and record it slow and then put it out. It was going to be March of 24. And I'm really proud of how we made it. I'm really proud of what the writing is on it. I just think we made a really cool Ryan album, and I'm really proud of it.
I think when you mentioned Hardy's record, because listening to your record, the guitar tones don't always feel what would be electric guitar tone country, if that makes sense.
Yes.
But I think you're right. When Hardy comes out with that, it kind of normalizes anything that wasn't normal 6 months prior, to where your record does sound like a rock country lyric album. That's interesting you say it like that. I didn't think about it like that. But because Hardy did what he did. And Hardy also just was like, screw it, I'm just going to be a freaking, part of it's just rock. Like, no doubt, this is alternative rock, whatever you want to call it, it's hard. But yeah, I think there's a bit more acceptance of anything in a lane that has been created because somebody else kind of kicked the door open with doing it differently.
Yeah. And I texted him. I was like, hey, man, I appreciate you putting that out because I'm going to slide right in there without without anybody batting an eye. And it's a cool time to make music. It's so weird because you talk about genre. And I feel like we've almost it's almost become important again when we talk about genre. Like, I feel like 5 years, like right before COVID, it was like everybody listened to everything. And now I feel like because of where country music has sort of gone, like behind like the Zach Bryan movement in the industry, they called it country adjacent for a second. And I'm like, I wouldn't say that too out loud. But I felt like with that wave of like very like almost a live band performance on these records where it's not very like nobody likes tune, they don't want it to be edited too much. They want it to sound like a band playing.
Yeah,
like,
there's a slickness that's gone, like
yes.
purposefully gone.
I feel like that has sort of made genre matter a little bit more. Like the fences kind of came back up a little bit. And I remember we were talking to it like somebody at one of the DSPs and they're like, well, you kind of have to pick if it's a rock record or a country record. And I was like, 5 years ago, nobody would have said that to me because it was like genre was sort of like not mattering as much anymore. It seems like it's back a touch. And maybe I'm totally wrong and maybe my head's in a hole somewhere like underground, but
probably both. I think you're right a little bit and your head's in the hole a little bit too.
Yeah.
But it should be because you're a creator, right?
I guess so.
If your head's above.
I don't have like my finger in the wind, like seeing which way the wind's blowing. That's for sure. But I feel like even when like bro country came in, like that sort of took away rock radio for a second. Am I right or wrong about that? Maybe I'm wrong, but like that was when rock radio was kind of.
What is that, like 2010-ish?
Yeah. Yes.
I was
2011.
I was still on so hard on the CHR pop hip hop side at that point. I was still living in that world that my memory. I was out of country for like 15 years, and that was when I was not here.
Yeah.
So I was not here for the creation of bro country.
When did you get here?
13.
13.
It was really starting to peak when I got here.
Yes.
So, but I missed the birth of bro country.
Well, I think my point is like I feel like country and rock and roll have always sort of had this Venn diagram in the middle. There's always been overlap, and I just took it a little bit further on the rock side than sometimes, and actually called it that. I don't feel like I stepped out of country music to do it. I actually really, that's the way that I write lyrics. I write them like formatted like that. Like we have structure too. We have rhymes and we have meter, and it's all really important, and it has to have some sort of plot. There has to be some semblance of story in the lyrics. So
I feel what you were saying is interesting about genre, and I don't know that I feel exactly the same. I think genre is now important again. I agree with you fully. But I think each song is like a parcel. I think songs are specifically genre now. Because you can put out a record. Look at Hardy's, by the way. Some of those songs on the same record went to rock
radio,
rock playlists, and some went to country.
Yeah.
So, but I think it was specific. Each song was specific. And so I do agree with you where genre is now becoming...
he also split them in two.
He did.
So he said, these are the rock songs.
Same project, though.
These are the country songs. You're right.
Same project. Right. But I think like even, you can look at other artists, some of like Morgan's stuff. Some of that stuff, as country as he is, the country music community that doesn't love Morgan's probably not going to jump on that. I think like pop jumped on some of it. I think that it's parcel more than it is packaged now.
The biggest country song in the world this second that we're recording this is Bailey Zimmerman and Big X the Plug, which is insane. Like That, I guess, is to your point, where you're like, it don't matter that much.
It does, but it doesn't. Right? It's the same. It's the same.
Yeah.
But I think everything needs to be defined again, or it's cool to define again because it's cool to say what you rep.
Yes.
But I don't think you have to rep the same team. Like, it's like you're part Ohio State fan, part Michigan fan.
Oh God, you can't do that to me. It was a hell of a transition, but that just hurt. Oh God.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got one.
I mean, it doesn't hurt that much.
You got one.
They have 4 in a row.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, that was fun.
No, you're good.
That was my favorite Michigan game, I think, ever.
The game specifically, that was awesome. I love the flag, the fights. And I'm not a big Ohio State guy. I like Michigan more than I like Ohio State. But you won one the year before.
Yeah.
So you can't be that mad, especially when you also win one heads up the year they win theirs.
Didn't care. I mean, it was amazing. I like, hey, man, go win your natty. That's great.
Yeah, like we just got one and we just beat you the year you won it.
And they beat Bama. Oh, my God. It was a great year. I just kept, all year, there were games I didn't even watch. I was like, this team's not very good. But last year was fun. So I just kept saying last year was fun all year long. And then they ended up finishing great. It was so fun.
They actually bounced
Have you
back.
been to the Big House?
No. Why would I go?
It's awesome.
Why would I go? It's
I know.
cold. I have no interest in that.
Go early.
I'll be at Arkansas games.
That's basically the answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would go if like work was like, Castle, who I do the NFL show with, like he works for Big Ten. So he goes and he travels around, and if he was like, hey, come, I would go, but why would I go? There are coaches we go hang out with, like Shane Beamer, who I love, South Carolina. He's like, come to a game. I literally said, why would I come to a game?
You'll come when Arkansas goes.
Yeah. I was like, why would I come to your game?
Yeah.
Like, respectfully, like, I don't give a crap. If I have a Saturday, I'm going to go watch Arkansas play.
I kind of feel the same way. I did do this. We had a golf tournament this last fall, and it got rained out. And I was like, I am not sitting in my house all weekend by myself in the rain. I have to go do something. Does anyone want to go to Chicago? And my buddy William was like, let's drive to the Notre Dame game in the morning. And we left at 5 a.m.
You drove?
Drove to South Bend, saw him play Louisville. And that Tyler Shuck kid is really good.
He is really good. He's been coming on strong. The draft's about to happen.
We watched him just throw darts all day. And then we were going to go drive back to Evansville and go play craps in the casino, home of Don Mattingly, who's awesome.
You ever met him?
Yes. If I texted Don Mattingly right now, he would text me back.
That's pretty cool.
He's awesome.
By the way, Don Mattingly, for everybody that's not a sports fan, New York Yankee first baseman, like legend for when we were
Should
young.
be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Is not. I played his foundation event in Evansville. It was amazing.
He's still in Evansville?
He's still in Evansville.
Good for him.
Indiana. He's a great guy. Really, all of the money from his foundation, I believe, goes back into that community, which is amazing.
Why'd you go to the Notre Dame game?
Because there's nothing else to do. I don't know. I wanted to go to Chicago. William said he would rather go to South Bend. Some of my buddies from Michigan met us down there. I had never been to Touchdown Jesus. So
How'd you feel about it?
it was incredible.
Really?
It was so cool. Like that's a cool part about sports is going and seeing like the cathedrals. Like I'm not a Yankees fan, but going to Yankee Stadium is like it is. You just feel something.
Yeah, there's so much. Well, before they built it, because I went to the old Yankee Stadium too before they switched. Yeah, you're right.
The new one is pretty special
It's
too.
cool.
It's like
It's cool.
I can't believe it's sort of like going to the Cowboy Stadium. You're like, how is this thing so big? Wrigley Field is one of those places, more so than Yankee Stadium, where you're like, wow, I can't believe I'm here. So
Wrigley Field to me, the Cubs to me, are what Michigan did to you this last year. Once 2016 happened, I was like, we're good. I'm good.
it does you take the foot off the gas a touch.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I was just, being a Cubs fan my whole life, and my stepdad being a Cubs fan, because he passed it on to me. It was the appreciation that there were 2 generations that lived their full lives and never got to see something they loved dearly, which is the Chicago Cubs win a championship. It had been 1908 since they'd won it, 45 since they'd even been.
Mm-hmm.
And for them to win that, there was an appreciation of, oh, I got to see. It's kind of like you always wonder if your generation's going to be at the end of the world. And odds are it's not. Odds are we're going to come and live, blink, die. Whatever happens, happens. And we weren't here for the end of the world. But you're like, I wonder if it's going to be ours, where the end of the world actually happens, like a meteor or nuclear. I feel like I got to be the generation where the Cubs won a World Series. that was the version of the end of the world that I was lucky to be a part of. And I think there was an appreciation, and I watch a lot, and I'm still, even since 2016, we're talking 9 years, I'm like, oh yeah, we're good. I want to win. We're good.
What was the first Red Sox World Series? Was it 2009?
Was you talking about the one when they beat the Yankees, or they came back 3-0 on the Yankees before they got to the World Series?
What year was that?
Dude,
04. Sorry, thank you. 04. So inside of it's crazy. So 04 and 16, both curses broken.
Babe Ruth and Goat.
I thought they were closer together. But it is cool to grow up your entire life, and the Boston Red Sox and the Chicago Cubs they are cursed. They're cursed franchises, and to see both curses broken, when you still really, really love sports was really special. People talk about that. I mean, that Cubs team was so likable too. Like, those are beloved players forever. And not even if they won. Like, I think they'd be that way if they didn't win. Like, people love Schwarber and Rizzo and Javi when he was wearing a Cubs uniform. And it is Chris Bryant.
Those guys are always going to be Cubs in my mind, even though they're not. Even though they went to the Rockies and the Yankees, and they're still Cubs because they are. Theo Epstein is the guy.
Do you know him?
I do not know him. I know him from worshiping him.
Yeah, what a genius.
Yeah, does it in Boston and then goes to Chicago and does it.
Yeah. How many times have you thrown out? We've actually thrown out the first pitch on the same weekend in Wrigley.
When I was doing mine, you were there.
I was there.
Yeah,
it was awesome, and then I got to do it the next day.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah,
that's like the coolest thing. Thinking about that, it's one of my favorite parts of success. Not me throwing the first pitch, but I got to take my stepdad. He was with me. He'd never even got to go. He'd never been to Wrigley, and so to take him and not only go to a game, but to take him on the field, like that's really the coolest part.
Can I tell you about my dad at Wrigley the next day when I got to do it? So I know all of the people at the Cubs because of Brian O'Connell. I was on the Florida-Georgia line tour, and I was booked for the whole tour. I was first of 4, so I got to play I think it was 20 minutes maybe. But it was fun. It was worth it. It was great. It was getting moving, and I'm still, friends with those guys. They're like really nice, whatever. Anyway, that tour was so fun. And the Saturday show of the weekend in August, I wasn't on the bill because Backstreet Boys were playing the stadium shows. So all their baseball stadium shows they were doing, Backstreet Boys were on, not me, which I understand. Bigger pool. So I said, hey, they're playing Wrigley Field tomorrow. I think we were in Minneapolis or something. I was like, hey, can I just ride a bus? I want to go to the show. I have nothing to do, which is rare, but I'm supposed to be touring this weekend. I'm not on the bill. Otherwise, I just go home. So I go to the show. I wake up. We're at Wrigley. Brian has his bus out there. And I walk over. I'm like, what are we doing today? And he's like, have you met everybody here? I was like, I love Chicago, but I don't know anyone at the Cubs. I'm a new artist, and everything's new for me. He's like, I got to introduce you to my buddy. So he introduces me to this guy named Jason McLeod. Takes me through the clubhouse, and he lets me hit in the tunnel. He starts throwing me BP, and I, for whatever reason, got into a couple and hit him real hard. And he's like, hey, you should come back and hit on the field. And I was like, I will text you tomorrow. And I did. I texted him the next day. I was like, when can I come hit on the field? He's like, one of these 3 days. And so the Cubs are playing the Brewers, and he says, if you come up this day, you can hit on the field. And so they get it to where I'm throwing out the pitch too. So I get my dad and my brother and my best friend from Michigan, who's a huge Cubs fan. I was like, we're all going to this game. Maren came up. I saw you the day before. And we get to the game, and I'm like, all right, I get to hit on the field in the cage. And Jason comes up to me and he says, Cubs aren't taking BP today. It's like, damn it. Okay. Well, that's cool. I'm still going to get to throw out the first pitch at Wrigley Field. That's incredible. And he's like, give me a second. And he goes and gets the BP, the coach, whoever their BP guy is. And he's like, this guy will throw you both 10 pitches. So I get in the cage. It's hard to see the ball. And I start hitting the ball at Wrigley Field. I got one to the warning track, which was pretty dope, with a wood bat. But the Brewers see this dude with long hair, jeans, a Cubs jersey that says Hurd on the back, and they start heckling me from right field because they're playing long toss. And so they're start booing me because that's hard to hit the ball because you can't pick it up out of the guy's hand. That's why they have those. That's just so that your depth perceptions. It's not like Little League. And I get into a couple and they're still heckling me. I'm like, that's pretty cool to get heckled by the Brewers. And all of a sudden I'm like, where's my dad? And I can't find him anywhere. And I'm like, anyone seen my dad? And they're like, no. And all of a sudden I see my dad is running in from center field. He has been shagging balls and picking up all of the balls that the Brewers have been tossing over to him. I was like, where have you been? And he's like, oh, I was in center field shagging balls. And then everybody in the crowd started asking me for baseball, so I just started throwing baseballs up into the crowd. They all love me. And I was like, they have no idea who you are. But it was fantastic. It was like one of the greatest memories that I'll ever have is like my dad just running in from center field being like, yeah, I've been just playing around in the outfield at Wrigley. So
like getting to see your dad be a kid.
It was, and he grew up in Chicago, and so it was like a big deal for him too, and whatever. That dad shagging balls in center field and just pretending like he's a player, throwing them to all the fans is crazy to me.
Why did you move here?
To go to college, but really in my heart to make music.
Okay. Why did you pick the college?
I wanted to be in Nashville. So I went to Belmont. I got a econ degree and sociology degree. I took one music business class there, which I think is really important. It really, like I remember almost everything that I learned in that class. And I feel like a lot of people who do this for a living don't always understand how the money moves. And I feel like I got a head start just by taking one class, like understanding like this is like kind of how all of this works. And so I ended up, when I got out of college, getting a contract job doing research for the United Methodist Church. Did like a lot of stats work on a contract basis. So I didn't have hours. So I could write during the day. So then I started writing songs with Aaron, who's my producer, and he's written songs for like 2 number ones for Scotty McCreery and the last Tim McGraw number one, and then Joey Hyde, who wrote Made for You for Jake Owen, and Steve Mokler and Matt McGinn and Jeb Holmes, and we all started coming up together and getting our foot in the door, making recordings, and all got publishing deals at the same time. And so, but I still had that job until I had a number one song at radio. So I had, my first single was the Swan Brothers after I signed at Universal as a writer. And that went to like number 12 or 11.
What was that one?
It was called Later On. It was their first single after The Voice. And then I had the lowest charting song in the history of Rascal Flatts, Payback, was me.
What's the lowest charting song?
21? I think it got to 21. But it stopped. It like flew up that high and just stopped for like, it was excruciating to watch it not move. But it's happened to me. I mean, that's just part of the game. And I loved the record. It was such a huge moment for me to just be on that album. And I don't say lowest charting song because I'm like, it's just on me, man. It's just, I wrote the song. So, and then the next thing we had was Blake Shelton being the number one song with Ashley Monroe. And that's when I quit my job, was when that one. I was like, okay, I'll probably need to devote all of my time to this. So.
Lonely Tonight?
Mm-hmm. That's it.
Sing the chorus.
So we don't have to be lonely tonight.
Got it.
And then Ashley goes, need you, want you, I'm right here.
Well, not.
The demo is really cool too. Sarah Hayes sang the female part.
Were you writing for you at all at this time?
Nope. I just wanted to be a writer, and I think about it all the time.
Did you want to just be a writer when you moved here to begin with?
Once you find out, yeah. I knew about like the writing, like Music Row, staff writers, and I knew about like writing. I knew that was a job, to just be a songwriter, because of a lot of people find out that that's a job when they get here. But yeah, that's just what I wanted to do.
I guess were the ambitions to be a front-facing musical star when you moved here to go to school?
No. It was not. But, here I am. I'm like, I actually got, so right when Lonely Tonight went number one, Taylor and Jim Catino from Sony, Taylor, Lindsay, Sutherland, and Jim Catino kind of came around and they were asking if I would want to be an artist on their label. And I said, no, thank you. I really love this. And literally a year later, I said yes.
Why?
I think about that all the time.
They catch you on a good day? Or did you just really want to do it for a long time and you finally had the courage?
I wanted to
say
make
yes?
records. I wanted to make records. Like I did want to do that. The travel part and the touring part always scared me. And that still does. So.
Even before you were burnt out from touring, it scared you to...
Yeah. I mean, it's that we have the same anxiety about it. It's like no one's going to come. So, I don't know. I love writing. It's like the thing, I don't know why it is. That's how I measure my success still, is like how many songs do I have on the chart at any given time. I have one right now. But
Which one?
John Party, Friday Night Heartbreaker, which I think is so dope. And
That song's a jam. And
Thank
what they did with it sonically as well, this is a testament to both of you guys. It's an awesome song.
Thank you. There's a lot of writers on it, so I can't take a lot of credit for some of it.
Then you can say it quieter.
Thank you very much.
And what they did,
we all thank you.
They sonically like crushed it.
It's such a badass
with
album.
John. Oh yeah. Like John's able to do that every time. Like it gets a little cooler, but a little more specifically John. And it's like he pushes the boundaries of country, but by being even more country, but by also introducing new instrumentation. I don't know. John just, his stuff sounds so different, yet he's more country than ever.
Whenever someone like, I love all John's records, and Bart Butler's a great producer. And when they said he's working with Jay Joyce, everybody always, like when there's a producer shift, is like, and it came out so great. The whole album is so great.
It doesn't feel pandering either. And
no, it feels like a timeless, great album.
Yeah, that song's a jam.
And I'm really proud to be part of it. So that's how I measure my stuff still, though, is like, not as an artist. I don't care about, I have no idea how many streams I have on this album or on any songs. That's not my measuring stick. My measuring stick is how many songs am I getting cut by other artists.
What song has paid you the most?
Heartless. I wrote Heartless for Morgan.
Oh, and the Diplo?
Mm-hmm.
What song that was country, purely country? Because that Diplo record was kind of experimental country. I liked it a lot, but what about
Which one was
traditionally, what song has been most successful for you?
I don't know. I don't look at statements a whole lot. I'm not a numbers guy.
Is there a database that tells you that stuff?
Sure, you can go right into your BMI account and
it's all there.
It's all sitting right there. I would have to say, man, the Jordan Davis song I wrote did really well commercially. That one surprised me with
What My World Spins
Around is, that was, I think we did really well on that one. And then, What If I Never Get Over You was a massive, massive hit.
Lady A.
Mm-hmm. It got nominated for Single of the Year, and we won an NSAI award for Top 10 Songs I Wish I'd Written. That song was really massive for me too. And Lonely Tonight was a 2-way. So instead of splitting the royalties 3 or 4 ways, we split it 2 ways. So that was really, but that was my first one. So I didn't have any context for any of that. But I mean, it's a crazy way to make a living. And I'm really blessed to have gotten to do it, truly. I mean, it's definitely like walking a tightrope, and some days you feel like you're doing great, and some days you feel like you are never going to have another hit or make another dollar. But you know what that's like.
You said something interesting. You were glad you took that music business class. I feel the same way about taking media law. I took one semester because usually, and fortunately for me, I didn't have to learn most of it this way. Usually we learn that stuff when it goes wrong and we have to learn it.
Yes.
I think I had a brief education on some of the law and contract things because of a course that I took. I'm so thankful I took it, because there have been other parts of my career where I've had to learn the hard way, where I didn't even know until I did it way wrong.
Yes.
And I think in this town, in that music business class, most of my friends, or I would even say peers, have had to learn because they sign things. It's not like a Backstreet Boy deal or an NSYNC deal back in the day where but they signed deals where they didn't quite understand what was going on, and it was only upon understanding that they learned what not to do.
Record deals are a lot like that sometimes because there's so much going into it and there's so many deal points. Publishing deals are a little simpler, but it's just confusing because nobody knows really where the money's coming from and like how things are recouped. Like
Feels like Ozark. You don't know where the money's coming from.
it is. I mean, when you think about it, like let's talk about publishing money, where it comes from. So I write a song and Luke Bryan records it and he says, this is going to be my second single of this record, Sunrise, Sunburn, Sunset. It's going on the radio. It's
which you did right, by the way. This is not a hypothetical.
This is what happened.
Yeah.
And it goes on the radio, flies up the charts, becomes a big #1 song. They make T-shirts in Florida. That's the difference between a copyright and a trademark, by the way, is I don't make any money off the T-shirts, but I make money off the song getting played. But, okay, so my song is #1 on radio. I get paid a lot of money, right? Well, why? Where does it come from? Well, it comes from BMI. Well, how does BMI have any money? It's like, well, in order for these radio stations to play this music and make a profit by selling advertising, they have to buy a blanket compulsory license. So all of that licensing money, which comes from advertising, gets put in this giant, giant pool that they split up based on essentially your market share of that pool of money. So just understanding what we're really doing as songwriters and as artists on the radio is selling advertising. And that's why when they test songs, they don't want anyone changing the channel because they know right after this song, they got a car commercial, and that car dealership's their best client. So pays for a lot of stuff. I think understanding like that part of it. The thing that people don't understand too, and it gets really confusing, is recoupment. So it's like let's say I got $100,000 on this publishing deal because they've paid me a $50,000 salary for 2 years and we didn't spend any other money. It's just $100,000. Like, how do I recoup that? Like, what does it mean to recoup that money? And it's like, well, some of the money that's in this big pile goes toward recouping that. So let's say, and it's kind of almost too much to explain on the air how that works. If I had a napkin, I could show you exactly how it happens. But it is confusing in the music business. It's not the same as like, well, I sold a car for $20,000 and I get a 5% commission. $20,000 and I get a 5% commission on that $20,000. It's like, well, some money goes to recoupment and some money doesn't, depending on what kind of royalty it is.
And also the money could be different based on what share, what we call the market share. I think it's a great term for it, based on what market share you had.
Sure.
So, I mean, you could have 2 songs hit #1 and get paid differently.
Very differently. And also, this is a weird part too. You can have a massive hit. I remember you'd have Luke and Kenny Chesney songs, and when I first started doing this, that would go like #1 in like 11 or 12 weeks. And you'd be like, that's a massive hit. And then you'd have some that would go in 40 or 50 weeks. I've had those too. And the ones that go 40 or 50 weeks rack up so many spins, a greater market share, that they pay out so much better than the one that is a bigger hit that flew up the charts because it just didn't get as much airplay because it happened so fast, right? Like that's crazy to think that the bigger hit pays less. But sometimes that's true. I mean, over time, no. Over time, the giant hits pay the big bucks.
And also the value of, but you're right. First of all, on that point, yes, song takes 12 weeks, doesn't exist and doesn't have to do the work as much. I picture like an hourly worker. The 40-week #1 song has to work a lot of hours to get #1.
Sure.
And you got to pay him by the hour.
That's a good way to put it.
So he's going to make a lot more money than the 11-week quicker contract job that's in and out if I'm comparing it to like work that I did.
Sure. But which one's more valuable in the long run?
Well, I would say
you'd have to there's a lot of different things that go into it.
And there's value in the writer, right? I mean, you quickly have another #1 song that's now part of your story that allows you to get better rights with artists who often get #1s.
Isn't it crazy too that that's the way that we still talk about success in this town is how many #1s do you have? It's as a writer, we still it is, you wear it like a hat.
But it's almost like, what else are you going to quantify?
That's exactly right. It streams, the streaming royalties until they figure out how to actually do it.
You walk around with a stream counter on? Like,
right.
I don't have any #1s, but I got 17 billion streams.
Yeah, times 0.00001 cent. That's how much money I made today. Yeah, it's not as sexy of a counting half pennies is not not super glamorous. That's
also,
for sure.
Also, too many numbers. Let me ask you this about the record. How do you know you're done?
I think the easiest answer is you're done when when the deadline comes. I don't know if you ever are. There's parts of my album I still am like, God, I wish we didn't do that. Or I wish I would have caught that. Or I wish I would have. Aaron's the same way. He won't tell me what they are. But, I have, like, you're done when it's time to be done. As far as writing it goes.
No, I meant the project. Like,
no, it's done when
when you're sealing it. It's done when it has to be done.
It's done. Yeah, it's done when your producer's very annoyed at you.
But it's never actually done.
No, I don't think so. That's just like the song "Funerals" is one for me where I'm like, I wanted it to sound just a little something else, and I tried. I had like 3 or 4 mixes on it, and it just the one that the best version was the last one, and that's what we went with. But it's still, you still have things in your head of like, oh, I wish, like I hear it a little different. But that's just part of creative work. I would love to ask the same question of a visual artist.
I would think any artist is going to say it's never done. It just has to be done at a point.
To be done.
Or you don't make money to eat so you can make other art.
I think too, I've used this, and it's not a good way to talk about your excitement, but I have said, just get it off my desk. And that was a big deal for me. It was like, I mean, and it's really been hard because my heart is not all the way in it the way that it was. It was like part of this to me was something we did together. And so finding a new way to make music, just me. I mean, there's a million ways you could slice that up, but it's been hard to get my heart back into it. And so for me, like this album was like, I need to get it off my desk. I need to get it done, move it. I need to do it, get it out, and then so that I can move on to the next thing, whatever that is. And that is how art works, I think, is you explore something and you give it everything. Like I gave this thing everything I had to give. I am a dry sponge currently.
Do you feel like you gave it so much that it started to be detrimental where you're continuing, because you know it's not over, you've given it everything you have healthily, that you could obsess and actually make it worse because you become obsessed with it, so you need it off your desk?
That's when mixing, like those guys the mix engineers just want to push artists into the river. It's like tweaks on the 6th mix, and you're like, dude, it's probably fine. It's probably fine. I think you give as much as you can, and then there's a deadline, and then it's time to go do something else. So whenever we do the next record, I want to do 8 songs. I have a title. I have all the songs written. I know what I want it to be. I'm ready. I'm very excited for that one.
Last question. You mentioned Funeral, but I was going to ask about Paul.
Yes.
That's Paul McCartney, right?
Paul McCartney.
You met him?
I met him at a Grammy party.
Give me the story.
All right. I'm going to give you the longer version because this is a podcast.
You're allowed. I welcome it.
We were nominated for Circles Around This Town, and we went to the Grammys, sat next to Ashley McBryde, had a great time. Silk Sonic played. I was right there. We wanted to go to 3 parties we had to go to. Our friend Greg Kirsten's party that he threw with Dave Grohl, but that was in a totally different part of Los Angeles than the Sony party, which was the label party we had to go to. And then we wanted to go to Taylor's party and Jack Antonoff's party because Taylor Swift.
Okay, just making sure.
They were very nice to invite us.
Thank you.
And, but we're not even going to get to that because all the fun stuff, the song stuff happened at the first party. So we leave the Grammys. We're like, hey, we have to go to the Greg party first because we really want to go, but it's not near it's not near Hollywood, which is where the Sony and the Taylor party were.
Taylor Swift party.
The other part of town.
Yeah.
So we're all the way down at Greg and Dave's party. I'm going to pick all these names up off the floor before I leave. So don't worry, I won't.
It's not even picking up because you don't say last name, so we don't even know sometimes.
I won't. So I get to go to the Greg Kirsten and Dave Grohl party, nice. And we go, and my mom and my sister are in the van with us because they went. They'd never been to the Grammys. It was so fun. And Maren, Janet, Dallas, and a driver, I believe. And we go to the party, and we get there like obnoxiously early. And there's no one there. There's no food. There's not even beer out. And I have my tuxedo on from the Grammys still. I have this like Frank Sinatra tuxedo, and I decided to take my clip-on off because do you know how to tie a bow tie?
I do not. I clip on.
Not one person knows how to do it. So I have a clip-on. Well, I take my clip-on off. I open up my shirt, have my real bow tie hanging down the placard of my shirt. We're hanging out at the party. People start to trickle in. We're hanging out with Greg Kirsten, who makes Maren's records. His family's amazing. They've always been really kind to us. And it gets to be about time where we really do need to get to the Sony party. And we go up to Greg and say, hey, Greg, we love you. Thank you. We'll see you soon. Wish we could stay longer, but we have to go to the other party. And he's like, oh, you got to meet Paul. I'm like, okay. We don't have time to meet your friend, Paul, but we'll see you like when we see you, but thank you. And he's like, no, you come on. And he grabs us. And we like run across the room and like we get closer. And I was like, oh my gosh, like that is Paul McCartney and his wife. And I like kind of freeze and she freezes and he just brings us right up. It's like, hey, Paul, these are my friends, Maren and Ryan. And I don't, neither one of us have anything to say. And he goes, hey, I'm Paul. Did you guys win a Grammy? We're like, And he's like, me neither. So, okay. And he starts talking and he grabs my tie, my bow tie, after we've exchanged pleasantries. And I'm not going to do a British accent. I would not disrespect Sir Paul by massacring my interpretation of that. But he starts messing with my untied bow tie. He's like, my wife, I love the way you're wearing your tie. My wife wants me to wear like this to these things more often. I said, well, these things as in the Grammys. Okay, got it. These things. These kind of things. And so he's messing with my tie. He looks over his shoulder. He's like, hey, honey, come here and look at this guy's tie. So he's like messing with it. And she's like, oh, I love the way you're wearing your tie. I wish he'd wear it more like that more often. And he's like, yeah, okay. So do you know how to tie one? And he's like, no, nobody does. He's like, absolutely nobody does. And I said, well, Paul, we have to go to our label party. It was really nice to meet you. And we left and got in the van and we're just sitting there kind of like in silence. And I just said, I forgot to get a picture. That's the only thing anyone said was I forgot to get a picture. And so over the next like 6 months is how long it took me to write this song. I wrote the story of meeting Paul. And it's really special to me. I mean, the song, if you haven't heard, it starts with, I met Paul McCartney at an LA after party in a suit, tux made by Armani, wondering what I'm doing here. So there's like imposter syndrome at the beginning, and it goes through like talking to Paul. Everything that we talked about is in the song, and then I tie it back to like why that was such a moment for me. It's like when I was a kid, my dad had a 6 CD changer, and then he had a little turntable. So on the 6 CD changer, I remember like core memory being a little kid, and hey, you had Randy Travis that won the CD with Forever and Ever Amen on it, that massive, massive album. And I remember that was the first country song I ever heard. And then he had these old Beatles 45s that he got, I think from his older brothers. And he would play these 45s like on the weekends. And so my first introduction to music was that. It was like Randy Travis on the CD and Let It Be on these old records. And so for me to like have that full circle moment in music, and my family has sacrificed so much for me to be able to do this. They all live here now, which is crazy. Like one by one, they've all gotten here. And part of that's because this is like where our family wants to be close, and this is where I was. And so everybody sort of ended up here. But to have like a song on your record that is better than a picture, like it is the entire memory, but it's more than that. It's like the reason I make music is because my dad played Let It Be on a record when I was a kid, and it made me fall in love with it and made me want to do it. It made me want to take piano lessons. And so to have the opportunity where you get to meet your hero, they say don't like, and there's a lot of times you do meet your heroes and you're like, God, wow, that guy's kind of a jerk. Like Paul McCartney was the nicest human I've ever met. He's a professional at meeting people. He's a professional at disarming people and making them feel comfortable. And he's a guy. Like he's the best in the world he's the biggest rock star in the history of the world to me. And he was nice enough to just ask us if we won a Grammy that day. And I know it's the Grammys. It felt like he was asking, when's your birthday? You know what I mean? Like, it felt that personal to me. And I don't know, man. We talk about the things we don't like doing this. Like, I don't like touring. I don't like being away from my son. I don't like being away from home. I don't like that feeling of like, I hope people come. But I love music. I love making records, and I love writing songs. I love figuring out how to make an artist feel special that day. I did it yesterday. I loved just trying to get on this guy's record and doing the best I can to help him find his voice, right? Like, those are the things that I will always love, and I hope I always get to do. But when you meet someone like that, and I've gotten to meet Elton John, Dave Grohl was at that party. Jeff Probst was at that party. They're both very incredibly nice people. They've been incredibly nice to us. Like, man, the opportunities that I've gotten to do because I can write songs, because I can write songs, are things that I would never trade. But when it was one of those like mountaintop moments and also perspective moments where you're like, how lucky could you possibly be, man? This is like, you get to do things that you never dreamed you'd ever get to do. And so, full circle back to Midwest rock and roll. What if you stayed home? Could you be happy? Yeah, man. But like, look at what happened. Like, it's so beautiful. Like, even the hard moments, getting to do this is its own reward. You asked me like, how much money did I make off those songs? Like, man, I don't know. Enough. Like, plenty.
I didn't ask you how much. That's a whole different question.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But that's not the thing that makes me excited. It makes me relieved when it shows up every quarter, because I'm like, thank God I'm okay. But like, that's not the thing that makes me happy or excited. The thing that makes me happy is the making of it. Like that first moment. You guys know what I'm talking about. It's like that first moment where you're like, oh my God, we got it. There's nothing in the world like that. When they send the demo and you listen to it in your car like 10 times, there's nothing like that. There's nothing like getting to do this. And I hope I get to do it one way or another forever. I know I'll never, like, there's a time you'll write your last song at some point. You will have your last hit at some point. Maybe I've already had it. I hope not. But you get, like, getting to write songs every day is its own reward. It's its own privilege. It's the greatest job on the planet. And also, it's pretty, like, you show up at 11 and leave at 3. Like, how hard could it be? But I truly do love it. I'm so blessed to get to do this. I'm so blessed to still be in the game, and I hope I can continue to for a long time.
Midwest Rock and Roll. It's 12 songs. You guys check it out. And that's fun, dude.
Thank you.
We did over an hour. We haven't started recording yet, but we like this.
All right,
this
man.
has been a good one.
I'll hit it now.
Yeah, hit the red button. We good.
How often do you do that joke? I like it.
Only with people we like.
All right, good.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you having me in.
And why? There's actually a reason as to why we only do it with people we like. Is because I only do it with people that we do a significant amount of time with. Because if we did, sometimes we'll do 38 minutes.
Some people will take you up on it.
Well, no, I won't do that joke if it doesn't go an extra amount of time. And I only do extra amounts of time with people or with situations that I feel are going to be either beneficial to me personally or to the podcast. There you go.
That's a great joke.
Thank you. At Ryan Hurd, follow him. Check out the music. Ryan, good to see you, buddy.
You want to play some golf soon?
No.
All right.
No.